Cynophobia is defined as the fear of dogs. It sounds impossible to fear something so loving and compassionate until you have a life-changing experience that alters the way that you see that specific species for the rest of your life. According to Forbes Advisor, an estimated 4.5 million people annually sustain a bite from a canine. I am a dog attack victim, and this is my story of how it all happened. For as long as I could remember, dogs had always been my favorite animal, but my parents never really liked the idea of getting one. That was until my 8th birthday when, after I begged and begged to get one, my grandma got me a small black Yorkie poo. We named him Dasher. After falling in love with him, we instantly became a family that needed a dog. We had Dasher for multiple years and soon decided that it was time to add another dog to the family. At the time, my brother enjoyed hunting waterfowl, so he insisted on getting a lab to become a bird dog. My parents had previously owned labs before having children, and they had always had phenomenal experiences with them, so they agreed to get one. While I scrolled through my phone, an ad of a black lab puppy popped up. The puppy had all of his vaccines and was AKC registered, but that did not matter to me because all I cared about was how I fell in love with his adorable little face. We bought him, took him home, and decided on the name Brewster. He was a normal, energetic, and playful puppy who occasionally tore the house apart or bit my ankles, but besides that, was pretty well behaved. The first year of having Brewster was remarkable. At times he pushed my buttons, but he was still super sweet and we all loved him very much. 2 weeks before the incident occurred, my brother and I had wandered around the neighborhood with the dogs. The walk was typical up until the very end when we let both of the dogs off of their leashes to run the rest of the way home as we had done before. My brother jogged alongside them, and Brewster quickly turned around and, with an evil look in his eyes, latched onto his arm. At the time, my family didn't think anything of it because we thought Brewster was just playing and didn't understand what he was doing. On July 17th, Brewster went haywire. We went to the river as a family, and he just snapped. He was barking aggressively and trying to nip at my brother while he was in the water. We decided that it would be best to leave for the safety of us and the dog. Once we got home from the river, my mom and I had calmed Brewster down. We went to the backyard to just relax and hang out after a long day. I was trying to lay in the hammock, but suddenly Brewster started to nip at me. This was strange because I was one of his favorites. I slightly nudged him off and told him no, but he got more aggressive. He bit my left arm first, then my right one. As I was crawling out of the hammock and trying to escape his jaws, he grabbed my left leg, and then my right one. At that point, I was screaming at the top of my lungs, and my mom ran over to help me. I finally ripped my leg out of his mouth, luckily only leaving me with a few puncture wounds. That's when he started to attack my mom. First it was her left arm, and then her right one. As I escaped and went to get help, I left my mom to defend herself. She tore her arm out of his mouth, leaving her with a gigantic laceration. She was previously involved in a car accident, resulting with a seizure along with a stroke, so she had been on blood thinners. She needed to go to the hospital badly, or else she could possibly bleed out. Both my mom and I were fortunate enough to make it out of the attack with minor injuries that were stitched up at the hospital. As for Brewster, we never saw him again. I learned that animals have a beast within them, and although they may seem sweet and innocent, it is important to not always trust them. This also applies to people. Anyone can snap at any point, and it is important to protect yourself and your family from the evils of the world. I still fear dogs, and it's going to take a long time to ever look at them in the same way I did before. This lesson was a difficult one to learn, but I am glad that I was able to see how something so loving and compassionate can become dangerous. I'm also glad that I was able to learn how to overcome an inconvenient situation when it involves someone you love and care for. Although Brewster brutally attacked my family, I forgave him for teaching me something I needed to learn.